Hi, Catherine Tinsley with the Nocturnal. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Good.
Catherine, it's a good thing you're a nocturnal animal because it must be really late where you are, right?
It's about 6 o'clock,
Oh, okay, not
Oh,
too
it's
late yet.
so
early.
not
For a
too bad.
nocturnal,
Yeah,
it's early.
That's
yeah.
martini time
So
for me.
my first question is for Amy. How does The Wilds differ from other projects that you've produced in the past?
That's a very good question. Hardest show I've ever produced in terms of the scope. Um, I attack sort of the writing of any show, whether it's Sex and the City or The Comeback or The Wilds, similarly. Like you're chasing characters and great story and tone. But and Sex and the City was obviously a huge show in terms of scope in New York City, but stunts and filming all over New Zealand on wild beaches where the whole thing about New Zealand, they say, which you learn the day you get there, is it's four seasons in a day. So it's cold, it's hot, it rains, it's sunny, guaranteed. And I would say not in a day, in an hour. So there was just challenges of filming internationally, being so far away from home, and just really the logistics of putting together a show with massive amounts of stunts. I think we have 11 series regulars, which is one of the bigger ensembles I've ever worked with. And then just making sure, you do compromise along the way. Like we might have to cut this scene because it's complicated here. And on this show, similar to Sex and the City, I just was like, I'm not compromising. I would sort of take Jamie Tarz's hand and Sarah Stryker's hand, and I was like, we won't compromise the show. We will always make the show we wrote. Um, and I think it shows.
My next question is for Rachel. What was your process for developing the character and also the rhythm with Gretchen Klein?
Thank you. Well, when I did the pilot, I was really a huge leap of faith. It was, one of the three best pilots I've ever read in my life. I felt like I was reading a, Booker Prize winning first time novelist that just has opened a whole world of different ways of seeing and words, and her sensitivity of perception, the divine, like nothing is ever expressed in a kind of tropey or expected way. It was like a revelation. It's like discovering a novelist that is going to be a friend for your life because you'll read everything they've ever done. And the character really wasn't drawn at all. I was, kind of slightly afraid, I guess, of being, a two-dimensional person, in a very three-dimensional world. And I think in that, in the script, I perhaps was the hardest character for Sarah to imagine. And then when Amy came on to develop the series, that's when we kind of regrouped and just talked about, like I talked about Elizabeth Theranos and, people whose self-belief can be ultimately willful and not care for the reality and the carnage of reality because of their determination to see the outcome they want. So we talked a lot about kind of her morality. We talked a lot about that self-belief and whether that's sociopathic narcissism or is it a Greta Thunberg righteousness that is founded in her understanding of a world. Like in this pandemic, female leaders have outperformed male leaders in their states. In my country, the premiers have done, not outperformed, but performed incredibly well. Jacinda Ardern is an amazing example. The Prime Minister of Finland, they've led differently through this pandemic, and that is the kind of stuff I think that motivates my character's passion. But I also just wanted her to be really entertaining, and I think I get cast as bitches. Like I think if you want a bitch you can't dismiss, you might cast me. Like start with bitch and then I want to blow you up. I keep I like to create boxes and then explode out of them and fuck with an audience, that way, because I think, my biggest generosity that I can do for an audience is to take them to a place they didn't want to go. They didn't want to believe in me while I'm doing these certain things. So I really work hard to try to do that, but also to kind of be a little gymnastic. And I love that this character could kind of turn on a dime, because that's not who I am. I'm a very slow, like I'm a aircraft carrier. I kind of turn very slowly and then I kind of full steam ahead. But she had this gymnastic kind of quality that really was the challenge for me, and it kept me excited. It kept me enjoying her. And I also loved, making Amy and everyone at Video Village laugh. Like every now and then I like really wanted them to kind of, I wanted to almost hear them laugh while I was performing. So